Hello out there, my name is James and welcome to SuperEzHistory, the channel where today we'll be diving into the causes, effects, and actually what happened during the Franco-Prussian War. But first, if you enjoy exploring the history of the world, take a second to go down below and hit that red subscribe button and the bell to make sure that you get notified about the next SuperEzHistory video. The year is 1868 and the Kingdom of Spain has a serious problem. That year, Spanish revolutionaries overthrew Queen Isabella II and replaced her with, well, no one, yet. The best candidate to succeed her was a man called Leopold, the Prince of Hohenzollern and a member of the Prussian royal family. There was one big issue though. You see, Hohenzollern is in modern-day Germany, so is Prussia, but in between Germany and Spain, there lies another country. A country that had fought against the Germans for hundreds of years and wasn't at all eager to see them gain any influence over Spain. Leopold didn't really want the Spanish throne, but he was convinced into accepting it by Prussian Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. Bismarck had already led Prussia to spectacular victory against the Austrian Empire and had created a confederation of northern German states within Prussia's sphere of influence. The only power left that could potentially get in the way of his ultimate plan, to unite Germany, was France, but a Prussian royal on the Spanish throne would give Bismarck the leverage he needed to stop the French from interfering in German affairs. At least in theory. In practice, the French Emperor, Napoleon III, was never going to sit back and allow the Prussians to encircle his country. To make that very clear, Napoleon sent an ambassador to the Prussian king, Wilhelm I, to try and convince him to rein in Bismarck. Napoleon made two demands of Wilhelm. Number one, he stopped Leopold from claiming the Spanish throne, and number two, he makes sure that no Hohenzollern would ever seek to rule in Spain again. To his credit, Wilhelm was willing to accept the first demand, and at least acknowledge the second, so if not for what happened next, this story would probably have ended there. Instead, Bismarck had a telegram sent by Wilhelm to Napoleon, edited, to make it seem as if both sides had insulted each other. When it went public, the telegram, known as the Ems Dispatch, set Paris and much of French society ablaze. So, in line with public opinion, Napoleon III declared war on Prussia and the North German Confederation on July 19, 1870. As it turned out, war was exactly what Bismarck had wanted all along, and by provoking the French into declaring it over what was essentially just an insult, Prussia gained the sympathies, and more importantly the soldiers, of the German states to the south of Prussia that hadn't joined the North German Confederation. At the beginning of the war, the French and the German allies seemed to be evenly matched. Both had large professional armies with industrial economies to support them, and each nation initially was confident they could achieve victory. By 1870, France had been the dominant power in mainland Europe for centuries, and frankly they had grown just a tiny bit arrogant. Emperor Napoleon III, echoing his uncle's actions 60 years earlier, led the French army himself. Prussia's armies, on the other hand, were led by an experienced corps of officers, most notably Field Marshal Helmuth von Moltke, who knew exactly how to exploit Prussia's advantages to the fullest. For one, with the aid of the South German states, Prussia had slightly more men available to her than France. But more importantly, she had built an advanced system of railroads which allowed her to bring her troops to the front line much faster than the French. Just 2 weeks after the declaration of war, in August 1870, Prussia caught a French border garrison off guard and routed them at the Battle of Biesinger. Soon after, von Moltke and his armies began to push further and further into France, while at the same time winning a series of small battles. A month after the Battle of Biesinger, the Prussians met Napoleon III's army at the Battle of Sedan, the most important battle of the Franco-Prussian War. Their well-organized forces crushed France's ill-prepared ones, and after 2 days of fighting they took Napoleon III himself as a prisoner. When news of Napoleon's defeat reached Paris, already waning support for the empire snapped, and a bloodless revolution resulted in the creation of the Third French Republic. Meanwhile, the Prussians advanced from Sedan and besieged the Republic's capital, Paris, on September 19th. In January 1871, representatives from the North German Confederation and the Southern German states met in Versailles, the ancestral seat of French monarchy. They made Bismarck's dreams come true, and proclaimed a united German empire with Prussia's Wilhelm I as its emperor. Later that month, Paris fell and the French Republic surrendered to Imperial Germany. By this point, the Spanish had already installed an Italian prince as their king, but that hardly mattered to Bismarck as he had claimed a much bigger prize. The terms of peace with France, known as the Treaty of Frankfurt, forced the French to cede the territory of Alsace-Lorraine to the Germans. It also demanded that the French allow German troops to occupy most of the north of the country and pay them 5 billion francs in war reparations. Internationally, the defeat of France allowed for Italian unification to finally be completed, as the French Republic was no longer able to protect the Papal States. It also made the Prussian system of a conscript army commanded by skilled career officers popular with many nations across Europe. Most importantly though, the war planted a deep-seated hatred of Germany into the minds of the French people and government, as well as a burning desire for revenge and to reclaim Alsace-Lorraine. Tensions over their lost territory would build in France for the next 50 years until they eventually exploded into World War I. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to go down below and leave a thumbs up, or check out one of these other great videos on the left-hand side of your screen. And as always, thank you for watching Super Easy History.